guys, so today's video is going to be another Best in Beauty video, and today we're going to be talking about bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. You guys know that highlights are one of my all-time favorite products for makeup besides eyeshadow, so you guys know I'm pretty highlighter obsessed. Surprisingly, when I was laying out my highlights on which ones were the best this year, I realized that I did try quite a few brands like Kaleidos and House Labs and ColourPop, JD Glow, Give Me Glow, Glam Light, Nabla, some more Wet n Wild, Lele Posh, etc. But I'm realizing that like I bought the majority of the bulk of my highlighters like these past couple months, like not exactly like year round. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So I think I'm gonna start off with highlights because you guys know I love talking about highlighters, and definitely my favorite formula of highlighters this year and probably my most used highlighters. I think you guys are already gonna know my top favorite highlighters basically in my whole collection are my Give Me Glow highlighters. I mean, it's not very hard to figure out that these are my favorites. So I cannot get enough of these. Their most popular one is Halo, and it's this gorgeous like multi-shift kind of color. It's a like very white highlight with like a green and gold shift to it. It is so freaking stunning, you guys. It's so beautiful. I love this highlighter. I've used it so much this year. I love it so much. And then the other one is White Noise. This is their other most popular highlight. And this one has like a frosty white shift to it. It's not too white though. It's kind of more gold. I mean, like, it's kind of just like a pure white gold is what I would say. And it's stunning. It is so beautiful for fair skin tones, and it's just, that shine is like unbeatable in my collection. Like even, I mean, I love my Anastasia loose highlights, and I've been loving a lot of highlights that I've tried this year, but there's something about the Give Me Glow highlights that are just so amazingly intense that you guys know that these are my favorite kind of highlights, is so I can be seen from space. So, and then the last one is called Transcendent, which is this really beautiful peachy toned highlight. I honestly thought that this one was going to be too dark for me, but it's stunning. So I love all three of these equally, and if I want something blinding, and if something is not giving me enough of a like intense glow, I'll always add one of these and put it on top just so I can get that intense glow that I want. So I would definitely say Give Me Glow have been my favorites. Okay, and then there is another highlighter that I have from them, which is another pressed highlight, which is called Late Night Coastin'. And the only reason why I can't show you this one besides swatching it is because when I received it, it was pretty damaged, but it is so freaking stunning. It has more of like a darker taupey color to it as opposed to White Noise. I've also heard that the new White Noise is actually very similar to Late Night Coastin'. For some reason, Give Me Glow did change like the original color of White Noise to make it a little bit more of like a taupier color, and they didn't really tell anyone, so that's a little bit upsetting because the original White Noise is so gorgeous. I don't know why they wouldn't inform people of that, so just keep that in mind, because I do find that they said that some people found a little bit of yellow in it, and I've never thought that like White Noise had any type of yellow in it. Just keep that in mind, but I just wanted to show you guys that they are just beautiful, and they have been my absolute faves. Again, if I need a highlighter to be amped up and I need a little bit more intensity, they're always the ones that I go for just to add an extra pop. If the highlight that I'm using isn't giving me the desired intensity that I want. Okay, and then speaking of Give Me Glow, we're just going to go through the one loose highlighter that I got, but I'm already in love with this, and I've already used it. I've only used it once, but I'm telling you, it's probably the best loose highlighter I've ever used already. Like, it is just so gorgeous that I had to mention this. Like, again, I got the mostly the new highlighters that I tried, I got towards the tail end of the year, like end of November. But this is so stunning on the face. I tried this a couple days ago and oh my God, it's just so finely milled and so intense. Like, they are just amazing. And there's not really too much glitter in it. It's just straight up intense pigment. But when I actually look at it, it's not that sparkly. It's just beautiful. I love it. And it's so super smooth on the skin. And when I applied this, the only time I used it was in the Christmas Eve video, I'm pretty sure, that I posted on Christmas Day. Literally, it took like 2 seconds to get the desired intensity that I wanted. And it was amazing. So, love that too. Okay, so that was obviously my favorite highlights. I would have to say my other favorite, most used highlights this year were my Kaleidos highlighters. I absolutely freaking fell in love with Kaleidos this year. They also became one of my favorite brands. I would say like my top 5 favorite brands this year would be Glamlight, Give Me Glow, Kaleidos, Lele Posh, and probably ColourPop, because I can never like not include ColourPop. But when it goes for highlighters, Kaleidos were definitely like really, really up there. Their highlighter formula is so beautiful. And again, if I needed an extra intensity or a glow, I would go for these two. So the 2 shades that I have are Solar Sailor and Diamond Dasher. And oh my God, these are stunning, you guys. I'm not going to swatch absolutely everything. I just wanted to show you guys how pretty these are. So again, with the Kaleidos highlighters, they're not exactly like a super glittery highlight. It's just a super intense, like very soft highlighter. And then the other shade I have is called Diamond Dasher, which this one is a lot messier. I wish I would have gotten the updated packaging on this one just because the glitter like kind of goes everywhere when you use it. But again, it's freaking stunning. I absolutely love the Kaleidos highlighters. I have nothing negative to say about these. They go on the skin beautifully. And the only thing I would say is that I wish that I would have gotten the updated packaging because it does get pretty messy in the pan. But they are absolutely stunning on the skin. So I absolutely love these. And then the other 2 are these 2 in the Kaleidos Duo Blushers, which I'm also going to bring these up when we talk about blushes. But I wanted to mention the highlighters right now. So the 2 highlights that are in here, the first one is called Igari. And this one's a really pretty, like, shifty, peachy duochrome shade. It's gorgeous. I really love the ones in these blush duos because they're kind of like a duochrome-y kind of color. So this one's kind of peachy, almost pinky kind of shade. And then the other one is called Bloom, and it's in the, like, pinkier mauvier duo. And this one's also beautiful. I just freaking love these. They're so pretty. I used the Kaleidos highlights so much in the summertime. Like, they were mostly the ones I was using besides the Give Me Glow ones. Like, these were pretty much my go-tos, like, all summer long. They are stunning. So those are the 2 ones in the duo. So really love those 2. I have nothing negative to say about these Kaleidos products. Kaleidos really, like, impressed me so much this year, and everything that I've tried from them across the board has been so consistent with their highlights, their blushes, and their eyeshadows. Their formula is just so good, you guys, so I highly recommend them. So yeah, loved all of these products. Okay, now let's move on to my other favorites. Let's move on to my other most favorite highlights this year. So the other ones, again, are very recent and new to my collection, but these are beautiful on the skin. And I'm talking about the Glamlight Loose Highlighters. And the first one I have is Sugar High, and the other one I have is Cookies and Milk. Again, these are beautiful on the skin, not too glittery, very intense, but don't have like a super glittery shift to them. I think that's what I was mostly into this year, was very, very intense highlights that don't have too much glitter in them, but they're just a blinding intensity. Those are usually like my favorite kind of highlights anyway. So these are stunning. I'm not going to exactly swatch all of these. I'll just swatch one of them so you guys can see how pretty they are. They are a little bit messy because they don't have a sifter. They're kind of a messier sifter than the Give Me Glow one. I mean, they're not too difficult to swatch. I was about to say difficult, but they are beautiful. Look at that. So that one is the Sugar High color, and that's the gold. And you guys know I am a sucker for gold highlighters. And I just think this is so beautiful. Like when you look at it, it's so intense and pretty. So been loving those so much. I mean, I kind of expected nothing less from Give Me Glow from Glamlight, because everything that I've tried from them this year have really impressed me. So I really did enjoy both of these highlighters. I've been wearing them quite a bit since I've gotten them, so I felt confident enough to tell you guys how much I loved them. And then speaking of Glamlight, the other product that I want to talk about was their pressed highlight. Yes, pressed highlight. That is the name. I also have another pressed highlighter to talk about from them, but these are also beautiful too. Like this one is the pink shade and I love it. I think it's so nice on the skin. Again, it has a really beautiful intensity to them. None of them are like dull. They apply beautifully and they give you that really pretty like glowy, beautiful, intense glow. So I really loved this one. And this is called, I believe, the Concha highlighter. So I loved that. And then there's also another highlight that I really loved from the Chocolate Donut palette. I pretty much have been wearing this every day since I've been home in quarantine, but the highlight in here is called Chocolate Glaze, and this is also stunning on the skin. It's kind of dark, but again, most of Glamlight's highlights kind of really sheer out on the skin, and honestly, it wasn't this dark on my skin when I actually applied it to my face. It was really gorgeous. It was almost like a light champagne-y color, and it was so pretty, so I just wanted to mention that one as well. Okay, we're almost done with highlighters. We only have a few more to talk about. So the other highlighter that I really wanted to mention, I got really into loose highlighters this year. I have at least 4 or 5 to talk about. So I did love mostly all of the Lele Posh highlighters that I tried, but out of all of them, this is the one that really, really stood out to me. So I really just wanted to mention this one. I loved the Pride highlighter, and I loved Kenzie, and I loved Save Me, and I loved White Wedding. But this one is just so amazing. So I just wanted to give Lele Posh a shout out again. But the one highlight I really wanted to talk about was the loose highlighter in the shade Majesty. This is just so freaking stunning on the skin. Like I've never seen something with so many like multi-dimensional glitters in my life, and it's just gorgeous. It's like has like a white pink base, but there's like blue and pink and just amazingness in it, and it's just amazing on the skin. So that one is Majesty right here, and you might not see like all the colors in it, but look at that. Isn't that freaking stunning, you guys? I love it. So I really wanted to mention that one. I used this one a ton for collabs, and I couldn't get enough of it. It's so beautiful, you guys. So that's the one I wanted to mention from Lele Posh because it was just friggin' stunning. Okay, so I think those are all the loose highlights I wanted to talk about. So the last ones I wanted to talk about, the ones that I used the most this year. Also, we're going to talk about, you know what? Let's talk about just the Lele Posh pressed ones real quick. So the one that I really loved, and I think a lot of other people did, was the shade Kenzie, which is this one right here. I did use it quite a bit this year. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it. I'm just going to mention this one because it's just amazing. Again, if you want like super intense highlights, that one is Kenzie. Look at that. They almost look very similar in this lighting, but when I actually look at it in person, it shifts gold to pink. So it's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, love Lele Posh too. Okay, so now let's talk about these ones. These I actually really, really was impressed by. I didn't think that I was going to love these as much as I actually did. And the ones that I'm talking about are the Haus Labs duos. And I wanted to talk about the highlights first. Actually, let's just jump into the other 2 single highlights I need to talk about. Actually, there's a couple more. Let's just finish talking about these, and then I can jump into blushes when I'm done talking about the single highlights. So let's just do that first. But spoiler alert, I did love the Haus Labs blushes and highlights. I loved both of them so much. Oh my god. Okay, So the other highlight formula I really wanted to mention that I absolutely fell in love with. I mean, I already loved one of these from last year that I picked up another one, and honestly, I used these a ton still. So these are the Milk Makeup Flex Highlighters. Out of all the brands that I tried that were like more mainstream this year, I think that the Milk highlights are probably the best mainstream highlight formula besides Becca. Becca has a pretty solid shimmering skin perfector formula. I mean, everybody loves their shimmering skin perfectors, but these are amazing. And I think that these are highly underrated. I think that these are so good. They're just beautiful. They're so like intense and oh my God, I love them. So this one is the shade Iced, and this one is a stunning like everyday champagne-y kind of shade. Honestly, these swatches are not going to do them justice. The one that really like made me fall actually wait, Iced is the more goldy toned one. So this one is Iced and this one is Lit. So I was back and forth on whether or not I wanted to pick up another shade from them, but then I did, and I did not regret it at all because they're so stunning. So those are the two from Milk. Again, they're not going to swatch amazing. So that one is Iced and that one is Lit, and they're so pretty in person. Like, honestly, they swatch like nothing on my hand, but on the face, they are so beautiful and intense. And I use the crap out of them. If I wanted something that, again, I wanted to add like an extra pop to something, these would be my go-tos. I used the shade Iced a ton this year. It's just like, was one of my favorite go-to gold highlights. So I highly recommend the Milk Makeup highlights. They are beautiful on the skin. Love them. Okay. So then the other one that I think that this was the only ColourPop highlight that I picked up this year, but I freaking loved it. And I picked this one up basically right before ColourPop had to shut down for like 3 months. So this is the Super Shock highlighter in the shade You're a Catch, and this is part of their like not in bloom collection. They're like spring collection with like the nude mood and the like blush crush. This was the blush crush highlight. So this is what it looks like. It's so just massive and amazing like packaging. I love it. I mean, this is a little bit too big for me, honestly. I don't know why they made it so big, like gave everybody serious like Marc Jacobs vibes, but it's really pretty on the skin. And this is actually really gorgeous. I mean, you guys know I love ColourPop highlighters, but I think that this was like basically oh my God, my hand is so full of glitter. Oh my God, that like Lele Posh glitter was like something else, like made my hand so glittery. Oh my God. Okay, let me just try and wipe it more. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this one is the ColourPop one. This is stunning. I swear, like, I don't think I can ever go wrong with a ColourPop highlight. They're always so beautiful. And I really like the updated Super Shock formula. This was the first Super Shock highlighter I tried besides Flexitarian earlier this year. I don't think I tried Flexitarian this year though. I think I tried it last year, and that one is also stunning, but this was the first like updated highlight that I tried from ColourPop, and it's stunning. I loved this. I wore it so much in the spring. It was definitely like my go-to highlighter in the spring, so I loved that. And then the other one that really caught me, and I did use this quite a bit this year as well, is I already love the Wet n Wild single highlighters, like the Mega Glow ones that everybody loves, but this is the Hello Halo blush lighter in the shade After Sex Glow. I hate the name, but this product is so good, you guys. These Wet n Wild highlights are some of the best that I've tried from the drugstore. I think this is one of the only drugstore highlights that I tried this year, just because like I, have tried so many more this past year. I'm probably going to try a few other ones, but these are just stunning. Look at these. Look how silky. Okay, so only a couple more highlights to talk about, and then I just have a few blushes. Honestly, I didn't try a million blushes this year. I did get quite a few, but most of the blushes that I tried this year were from ColourPop. So always have a pattern. So the other one that I really loved, and I've had this again only for like a couple of weeks, but I already have fallen in love with this and I've used this enough to recommend it, is the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder. Oh my god, this is so beautiful, you guys. Again, it has like that silky smooth texture, basically just like the Wet n Wild, but it's a little bit more intense than the Wet n Wild. Not saying that the Wet n Wild isn't like super intense already, but I feel like the Wet n Wild Afterglow is a pretty good dupe for the Nabla. Actually, those are pretty close. But the Nabla is like even more like finely like pigmented and like almost like a glass like texture on your face, and that's why it's called skin glazing, because it almost looks like glass on your face, and I'm just obsessed with it. So it is so stunning on the skin. Like it really makes you have like a glass like texture, like you know how that Kevyn Aucoin tried to come out with like a skin glass kind of line, and it didn't really go anywhere, because like I feel like it went to Marshall's like not even 2 months later. But this is really beautiful, you guys, and I highly recommend this one. I don't know what's going on with my gloss. Let me just check real quick. It's not that pink on the inside, but all right, whatever. I don't even care. So next we have JD Glow. These are also really beautiful. These did not impress me as much as I thought that they were going to, which I thought that these were going to be like just as impressive as the Gimme Glow, if not even better. But they're still very pretty. So the first one that I got is Saxon Fifth, and this is a really beautiful like gold highlight. And this one's very intense as well. So this one is the gold. But honestly, I feel like I didn't really need this one and Halo from Gimme Glow, because they are very similar colors. But I'm still going to use it, and I've used it quite a bit since I've gotten it. I think it's very pretty. So I got that. And then the last one is from JD Glow is the pink. I don't know why I keep on looking for things on my desk. I thought I had something else to talk about, but I guess not. So this one is the pink one. And again, like, they're not as smooth as the Gimme Glow ones. They're a little bit more chunkier. Like, they don't swatch as smoothly. So this is the pink. And again, they're gorgeous. Sorry, I don't know why it froze, but these are just like so intense and silky smooth. Like, it's very hard to find highlights this intense that are so soft. And I think that Wet n Wild always nails it. They have some of the best highlight formula that I've ever tried from the drugstore. So don't sleep on Wet n Wild, because they are super inexpensive and you can get an amazing highlighter, basically like the same quality as like high-end highlights. Sorry, I was just wondering if my mom was making dinner right now, but I think she's gonna make it in a little while. Let me just reapply my gloss. I don't know why it's annoying me so much. I just feel like the insides are kind of like wearing off a bit. Yeah, that's better. So I just got the Fenty Beauty Cream Gloss in the mail, and I'm trying it for the first time, and it's really nice. I don't know why that like pink showing was bothering me so much. All right, that's better. So anyway, so with the JD Glow, the reason why I don't love them as much as the Gimme Glow is that they're not as smooth. They're very pretty and they're very intense, and I have been enjoying them a lot. But I can tell that like they're a little bit chunkier and they're not as smooth as the Gimme Glow. So just keep that in mind. But they're still very pretty. I would still recommend them. I don't think you would be disappointed with them if you tried them. But for me, they're just not exactly my cup of tea, because you guys know I do really like a little bit more of an intense highlighter. I mean, it's still intense, but like it's just a little bit chunky to me. So, okay. And then the other ones that really impressed me were the Haus Labs duos, the blush and highlight duo. So the first one is the bronzer and highlight duo, and it does have a highlight in here that I absolutely love called Sun. This is so pretty on the skin. See, look how intense that is, right? I feel like people kind of slept on these too because they're actually really good. Again, it doesn't really swatch like anything, but when you put it on the face, it's such a pretty like everyday highlight, and it gives me that like intensity that I love in like an everyday highlighter. Like it doesn't have to be super intense, but I still want it to have like a really beautiful like sheen to it, and these I feel like give that to you. And I know again a lot of people were not really expecting too much from Gaga's brand, but I feel like you shouldn't sleep on these because the blush and highlight and bronzer formula for all of these are fantastic. So this is the highlight, and it's called Fling in the Head Rush duo. And this one's a little bit more pink and a little bit darker. Again, they're not going to give you that shine when I swatch them, but again, when you put them on the face, they are really pretty on the skin. So it's so weird how different highlight looks on the face as opposed to your hand, but sometimes when you swatch them, they're not going to do anything. So speaking of blushes, I also want to mention the blushes in here. So let's move on to blushes because those are all the highlights that I loved this year. Wait, this is the only one that has a blush in it. The other one has a bronzer in it, which we will get to. So the blush in here is called Flirt. So let's start off with blushes now. So those were all my favorite highlights. So please let me know if you guys have tried any of those, what your thoughts were. I would love to know. So now let's move on to blushes. Let me just wipe off the highlight swatches first. So this blush I used quite a bit when I first got it too, and honestly I fell in love with it. This blush is so pretty, you guys. It's like this beautiful like terracotta pinky color. It's a very unique color to my collection. I don't really have too many blush colors like this. See how like it's more like a dark terracotta shade? It's so pretty, and it has such a beautiful soft formula. Like it's pigmented, but it's not like, oh my god, too pigmented. I think those were my favorite kind of blushes this year, or basically all the ones I'm going to be talking about aren't like, oh my god, super pigmented. Like they take a little bit more building, but once you build them up, they are stunning. So I loved that one. And then the other one I really loved was the Cover FX monochromatic blush duo, and this one's in the shade Soft Peach. So I got this back when the Cover FX duos were on sale for 21 Days of Beauty, and they were half price. And these are beautiful on the skin, so stunning, so soft, and they blend out beautifully. So if you guys see these on sale again, I would highly recommend them. They're actually really beautiful on the skin, so I definitely loved that one. Okay, and then my other obviously my other most used blushes would have to be ColourPop. So I wanted to mention these four were definitely my favorites this year of the newer ones I picked up. So definitely my most used favorite everyday blush this year from ColourPop was the Meteorite Pressed Powder Blush. This is such a gorgeous blush, you guys. It's not really like, oh my god, I love it. It's so pretty. I just love this blush. This is one of my all-time favorites, honestly. This has become probably my favorite ColourPop blush. I mean, I love Lunar Has It. I love the Double Play Duo. That's one of my all-time favorites. This is my other favorite. Like, this is such a gorgeous everyday blush. It's just like, you know, a basic color, and it's very similar to the Cover FX one, but it has a little bit more of like a nudie peach to it rather than like a straight up peachy blush. So I really did enjoy that one. So this one was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. And then I also really enjoyed these two for everyday blushes when I got them. So the first one is the Pressed Powder Blush in the shade Tearing Up My Heart. This one was part of the Garden Variety collection. And again, it's super peach, super basic. Oh, actually, there's another one I need to talk about too. So these 5 would be my favorite. So this one is a little bit less pigmented, a little bit lighter. And this one is slightly drier, but it's still really beautiful on the skin. I definitely really liked it. So, and the packaging was so pretty with the green, but I definitely used this a ton. And then the other one is part of the Wild Nothing collection, and this one is called Wayfarer. This one has the formula that I'm used to with ColourPop. I mean, the Meteorite was pretty much that formula that I love, but this one had such a soft, beautiful formula to it. And again, this was such a stunning everyday blush. I mean, it's not that soft when you swatch it. It's actually kind of rough to the touch, and it's a lot more of like a lighter peachy shade as opposed to the other three. Like this one, I don't know why they just came out with a million shades of peach this year, but you guys know those are my favorite colors to wear for blush. Again, it's very soft, but I did use it a ton, and I did think that the formula on this one was way better than the Hello Kitty, and then there was another one that I tried that I didn't really like as much, but this one was great, so loved that one. And then the other one that I really loved for my everyday blush was the Mulan shade in the shade Good Luck Charm. So this, I just love the packaging. It's so pretty. I actually finally just watched the movie last night because I never actually took the time to watch the live action one because I heard it wasn't very good. So I sat through it last night because, you know, since I've been stuck at home, I kind of wanted to watch it. So this one is the shade Good Luck Charm. And again, it has more of like a, it's a little bit darker in undertone, but as I'm swatching all of these, they are all pretty damn similar. So I probably didn't need all of these, but these, I would be lying if I didn't say these were like my most worn blushes. And again, this packaging was probably my favorite packaging that ColourPop came out with this year, besides the Hocus Pocus and the Mandalorian. Like their Disney collections, their artwork for them are just stunning. This is amazing. Like some of my favorite artwork from ColourPop. So you can't go wrong with the Disney collections, honestly. I think they do a great job with the Disney collections. Okay, so we don't have too many products to talk about. So the last ColourPop blush that I really used a lot was, and if I needed a pink blush, this was pretty much my go-to one. This is the pressed powder blush in the shade Catch My Vibe. This again was a beautiful blush. This one was part of the Making Mauves collection, and again it has that really beautiful, and they got me with the embossment of the flowers this year. They really did suck me in with those. I just thought that the packaging for some of their, like this was just stunning. Like they didn't really do this before this year. And this is the pink blush. It's so good. It's so nice, so pigmented. I love it. Was definitely one of my go-to pink blushes this year. And then if I needed another pink blush basically and another everyday blush, I used these quite a bit too. So I have to mention the Sailor Moon blushes. So the first one is Cat's Eye and the other one is From the Moon. Cat's Eye is more of like a peachy tone blush. And it has the super cute Sailor Moon packaging that reflects like that. Oh my god, my neck is hurting and all I have to talk about is bronzers after this. And again, this is really pretty. And is this the one? I always get these confused and I always think that this is the pink one. Yeah, this one is From the Moon. Is this the pinkier one? Yes, it is. Okay. Driving myself crazy as per usual. So this one is the pinkier color. So that one is Cat's Eye and this one is From the Moon. So I think all of these are all the blushes that I had to talk about from ColourPop. But these ones also have that same smooth, soft formula that I really love from ColourPop. So I really did enjoy these as well. So I mean, I needed something from the collection and I really wanted the blushes, so I just decided to pick up the blushes. So those are the other two blushes. So now I just only have a couple more blushes to talk about. So I'm just making sure that, you know, everybody stays in their rooms. I feel like everybody's fucking babysitter sometimes. So anyway, the other two blushes I really liked, that I got earlier this year are the Kaleidos blushes that I wanted to mention in the duos. These are also amazing. They're really, really soft, beautiful blushes. And they just like, they have such a soft formula, but they are pigmented, but they're not like too pigmented where it's like, bam, like, oh my god, it's like too pigmented. It's just really soft and pretty. And they just have such, I think that these are like the softest blushes I tried this year. Like so rich and buttery. Such great blushes. So that is the pink. And then the peach one is called Punch. And this is such a beautiful everyday blush. I used this a ton in the summertime. I loved this as one of my go-to everyday blushes. And it was just so pretty. Again, it has that super smooth, soft formula. So those are the Kaleidos blushes. And again, I freaking love those. I couldn't get enough of those in the summertime. And the other one that I used a ton when I got it back in like the start of fall, like September. This was like my go-to fall blush. And this was the Ofra Madison Miller collab blush in the shade All You Need Is Love. I prefer Ofra's blushes and highlights and lipsticks over their eyeshadows. I wasn't really too wowed by the eyeshadows. Even though I thought I was going to be like really impressed with them. But this shade, All You Need Is Love, is beautiful on the skin. It actually builds up to be pretty damn pigmented. So it looks super soft on the hand, but when you build it up on the face, it's actually really pigmented. But again, it's not like too crazy. It just builds up to be such a beautiful, like terracotta-y, like orangey blush, and it's so beautiful. So, and I really love Madison Miller. She's one of my favorite influencers, and I loved the highlight and the liquid lipstick that she came out with Ofra. So I really wanted to try the blush too. And I really wanted to give Ofra blushes a try because I never had tried them before. And I was still intrigued on trying that one. I wanted to get it back when it launched with the collection initially, but I decided to finally pick it up this year. Then the other formula that's such a great formula that I definitely recommend. I really didn't, again, try too many mainstream blushes other than ColourPop's. I tried some Fenty Beauty, some Kaleidos, some Haus Labs, Ofra, and then Buxom, and like that's really it. But these Buxom blushes are really good. So this one is in this shade. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush, and this one is called Mykonos. This is such a stunning, like peachy toned blush. So pretty, and it's really nice and pigmented. Obviously, you guys can sense a theme. These are the kind of blushes I love wearing, but like I love everyday PG tone blushes. So that one is the Mykonos color from Buxom. So pretty. I really loved this the last couple weeks as another go-to everyday blush, and it was really beautiful. So I definitely love that. And then the last one I have to talk about is the only cream blush formula that I think I actually really like. And I'm talking about the Fenty Beauty cream blushes. I know these caused a little bit of controversy. This one is in the shade Rose Latte, so this is more of the nudie color. I did just pick up the Fenty Glow kit with the blush, the highlight, and the lip gloss, which you guys know I love this lip gloss. It's like my all-time favorite. But I just tested that out today, and I do love it, but I don't want to say like it's my absolute favorite this year because I've only had it for like the last 2 days out of the year. But I can say I've had the Rose Latte blush for quite a while now, and this was a really pretty everyday blush. I was really impressed with the formula of these. I mean, I was hearing good things about them, but normally I'm not really a huge fan of cream products. Like, I know a lot of people liked the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, but I'm just like not a liquid blush girl. I thought that the Rare Beauty blushes were just too pigmented for me, and it kind of looked like the shade that I got. It kind of looked like it just made me like slapped in the face. Like, I prefer these because they're a bit softer and you can build them. And once they're built up on your face, they are so pretty on the skin. They're such a pretty like wash of color, and that's why I prefer the cream blushes from Fenty, because these are really the only cream blushes I like. So those are all the blushes. Again, not too many blushes this year. I just really wanted to pick out my absolute favorites, obviously. So now the last ones that we have to move on to are bronzers. That's the word, Caitlin. Bronzers. Okay. So my absolute favorite bronzer this year was the Haus Labs Heat Spell bronzer in the Heat Spell duo, and the shade that I have is called Savannah. And this is just stunning, you guys. Like, it's such a beautiful, like, soft buttery, super smooth formula. Like, out of all the blushes, I mean, out of all the bronzers in my collection, this is probably the smoothest bronzer. The smoothest bronzer I own. Can I speak? Bronzer? Like, really? This is the smoothest bronzer that I own. It's very, very soft and super easy to blend. And it's not like too pigmented, but it has like a beautiful sun-kissed glow to it. It is a little bit more cooler tone, which I kind of like too. But it's not cool toned enough for it to make it look like ashy and gray on my skin, because sometimes I don't love like cool toned bronzers. But this is just like the perfect shade. It is so smooth on the skin, and I really, really have been enjoying it a lot. So that is the bronzer from Haus Labs. I just love it. It was my go-to bronzer for like everyday looks, for like more like for work looks, because the only time I was wearing makeup this year was to go to work or go to my boyfriend's or to film a video. So we weren't really doing the mostest going out this year, obviously. So, but this was one of my go-tos. This was my favorite bronzer I tried this year. I mean, I only tried 2 bronzers this year, but this one just was amazing. Like, I was so impressed with this. I actually probably love the bronzer from this collection the most. I think the bronzer really impressed me the most. I mean, of course, I love the highlight and the blushes, but the bronzer, I didn't think I was going to love it so much. So, and then, of course, I'm going to just mention the other newer bronzer that I got. I already fell in love with this. And this is the Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer in the shade Tantric. So I did find this at my Marshall's a couple of weeks back, and I've already used it like quite a bit, and I love this just as much as the Haus Labs bronzer. Again, Marc Jacobs has that super, super smooth formula, beautiful on the skin. I do really love these kinds of tones of bronzers on me. I think that these are more of like the colors that I enjoy, like not something too orange, not something too dark. Like, these are pretty similar in tone. The Marc Jacobs one is a little bit warmer than the Gaga one, because the Gaga one is more cool toned. But I do like that, like, soft, like, bronzy color. And I think that really suits my skin tone really nicely. So I really loved this one. I know some people that had found this at Marshall's recently said that it wasn't pigmented enough for them. But for me, I love like a really soft bronze glow. Like, I don't love anything too crazy. Like, I love like a soft bronze like this and the Heat Spell one. So that's why I love those two so much. And then speaking of softer bronzers, the one I'm wearing today is the Marc Jacobs Insta Bronzer. This one, Insta Filter, I mean, this one makes it into my Best in Beauty, I think, pretty much every single year. And I have to talk about it again. I'm so close to using this guy up. So I've been trying to use it as much as I can. Sometimes it's a bit hard when I'm trying to use it interchangeably with another product that I'm trying to use up. But I try to use this one or the other one as an everyday bronzer. So this one's usually my go-to besides the other one I'm going to mention. And this, again, I love it. It still performs amazingly. I mean, this is one of my older products, so it doesn't really quite perform the same anymore, but it's still a great everyday bronzer. And I've been using the powder side to set my eyes every day. So I really am just trying to use this up. I think I'm finally going to use it up very soon. So this will be my first like contour slash bronzer product I've ever used up. So that would be great. And then the other one that I love, this is my favorite, still hands down, everyday bronzer. And this is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I know Physicians Formula doesn't exactly cater to every single skin tone. They really need to work on that. But I've had this bronzer in my collection for about 2 years now. And I just wanted to show you guys how much progress I made on it. But also, I'm going to update you guys on this anyway in my products I tried to use up in 2020. I still have like 3 more videos to film, you guys. We are not done. But I'm slowly trying to work through my Best in Beauty videos. This is going to be my 3rd one, and then I have about 2 more, and then I still have to film the products I used up in 2020. So this one, again, is one of my go-tos for everyday bronzers, and I absolutely love it. It's just such an easy bronzer to use. Like 1, 2, 3, you're done. Like, I love this bronzer when I have to get somewhere in a rush. Like, this bronzer is great. It always works every single time. It never fails me. I love it so much. And then the other bronzer that I used a ton this summer, and I can't say that I didn't love this too. I use this one and the Physicians Formula one interchangeably. So the other one is the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade Dolce. I've gotten this really flattened down in the pan. This used to be really raised because I use this so damn much. I love it so much, you guys. It's one of my all-time favorites as well. It just adds such a beautiful glow to your skin, so I love it. It's just amazing. Again, it's a little bit more of that cooler tone color that I really like that really soft color. That's like my favorite type of color for bronzers, so you can sense a pattern here. So those are my favorite everyday bronzers, and then the two bronzers I used the most for work are definitely the Thrive Cosmetics bronzer in the shade Rhea. I absolutely love this one, and the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer. These two were my most used bronzers for work. I didn't really touch any of my other bronzers this year, like my NARS Laguna, my Guerlain one from Chip. Didn't really use them that much this year. I constantly reached for the Thrive and the Anastasia. I did use the Fenty, and I think that one was my favorite in my last Best in Beauty, but I didn't use that one as much as the 5 bronzers that I'm talking about. So I think this shade Rhea always ends up in my Best in Beauty. It's even more pigmented than the House Labs. I mean, honestly, it's very similar to that shade. But I love this one. The formula of Thrive is just amazing. So I love using that. That's one of my favorites. And then the other one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Rosewood Bronzer. I love this bronzer so much. This is my go-to bronzer for collab looks, for work, for anything that I need more, like a more pigmented glow. I always go for this one. This is like my favorite, like, more full coverage look bronzer because it's just so pigmented and it's so soft and I absolutely love it. So I didn't try really any, like, really not that many new products at all from Anastasia this year. It was mostly just like the foundation, I think, and the not the did the foundation come out last year? I think it came out last year. And the mascara. I haven't really tried any other products from her, but it's so damn pigmented. So good. My makeup wipe like really dried out when I was in the kitchen. So, but it's just amazing. And then I forgot to mention just one more highlighter. Sorry. The last highlighter I wanted to talk about is I was kind of really surprised how much I ended up loving this. Because again, I'm not like a huge cream products person. I honestly don't love using cream products, but I liked the Fenty Beauty blushes. And I really loved this. This is the Winky Lux Strobing Balm in the shade Radiant Pink. This goes on your cheeks so intense. And it's so pretty. Like, I was like, oh, it's like a balm. Like, I don't know if I'm going to love it. It is so pretty on the cheeks. Like, it doesn't show up texturized, like, whatsoever. It's just gives you a beautiful glow. I know that's not a very good swatch, but when it's on your face, it just, like, does exactly what it claims. It basically makes your face look like strobed. So I loved this. Again, when I first felt it, I didn't think I was going to love like the texture and stuff, but I loved it. I was actually really impressed with this. So yeah, that is it, you guys. Those are all the blushes, bronzers, and highlights that I loved this year. Please let me know what your favorite blush, bronzer, and highlight this year was. I really would love to know, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. I mean, on my Instagram is CBW819. And please help me get to 500 subscribers. I am 10 away now. And I would really appreciate if you guys help me out and give this video a thumbs up. And please subscribe to my channel. So I love you guys. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So I'm sorry that I forgot to talk about a couple more products. I'm sorry that this video is so long. But I forgot to mention a couple of products, and I actually already recorded this clip once, but I accidentally deleted it, so I have to record it again. So I'm just going to jump right into the products so this video isn't like longer than it actually is. So I forgot to mention my 2 Cindy Grace cheek products that I tried this year. I can't believe I forgot to mention them because I really did love these. So I wanted to talk about the blush in the shade Peaches and Cream and the highlight in Golden Wonder. These were both beautiful. Their formula is just so soft and pigmented, and it's just like insanely pigmented, but it's just so beautiful on the skin. So I absolutely loved both of these, and I'm just going to swatch those for you. I'm just going to swatch them for you, and they're so smooth and pretty on the skin. Like, look at that highlighter. That is just stunning. And then the blush is just as gorgeous. So loved both of those. And then, of course, I forgot to mention ColourPop because, you know, I thought I had mentioned all of them, but for some reason I forgot these two products. So one of them is, hold on one second. Let me just wipe the top of this real quick. So this is the ColourPop Queen Frostine Candyland Highlighter. This was such a cute product because this was like, because ColourPop doesn't really do loose highlighters too often. They kind of do like body shimmers. So this is one of the body shimmers that came out with the Candyland collection. And it's just such a pretty highlight. I loved this to add like an extra pop over something, but it's really beautiful by itself as well. I really hope ColourPop does more like loose highlighters this coming year because, you know, I'm kind of really